Bob Avakian, Revolution, number 2. This is Bob Avakian, BA, back again, going deeper into why we need a revolution. Let's start with this big question. When has the USA been a great country? The answer? Never. Some people may not like my saying this. They feel stung by this truth. So let's look at the reality. This republic to which we are supposed to pledge allegiance was founded on slavery and genocidal robbery, keeping millions of black people in chains for generations, killing off huge numbers of Native Americans and stealing their land, waging a war that ripped off half of Mexico, greatly expanding slavery. So was this a great country all during that time, when millions of people were enslaved, owned by bloodsuckers who constantly whipped the slaves to make them work harder under horrific conditions, slave owners who raped masses of enslaved women? Was this country great then? Was it great when for generations after slavery was formally ended, black people as a whole were segregated, discriminated against, and continually terrorized, with repeated massacres of black people and thousands of black people lynched? Was it great when all during that time LGBT people were illegal, when women were legally treated as inferior to men, and men could legally rape their wives? Was it a great country then? Or is it great now, when people are every day denied basic rights, when the police kill 1,000 people every year, especially people of color, and in the 60 years since civil rights acts were passed, segregation and discrimination has remained as bad or worse as it ever was, and thousands of black people have been killed by police, even greater numbers than all those who were lynched during all the years of Ku Klux Klan terror after the Civil War. Has this country ever been great, when right from the beginning and down to today, the whole thing has literally been built on the broken bodies, the blood and bones of millions and now billions of people worldwide, cruelly exploited, used and abused by this system, with all this backed up by murder on a massive scale, carried out by the police and the armed forces of this country? No, this country has never been great. It has always been a horror for masses of people. And if you don't know all this is true, then you don't know what you need to know. And the biggest reason you don't know it is because the powers that be don't want you to know it. And instead they want you caught up believing the lie that, as they constantly tell you, this is the greatest country in the world, and their system is the greatest system that could ever be. Next, I'll be coming back with more about the whole rotten system that rules in this country and dominates the world. The system of capitalism imperialism, and the revolution we need to sweep this system off the face of the earth.
For those of you who didn't hear earlier, we're going to be doing a speak out. We're going to be having some messages, all with this theme of say no to celebrating America, truly a model of depraved racist genocide. Then at 4:30, we're going to have a procession through the streets of Harlem to Marcus Garvey Park, illustrating both the crimes of this system, but also how we could get to a new and much better world through revolution. How it doesn't have to be this way. Now I want to bring up Trey, who wants to share some thoughts and emotions and words with you. Trey.
So, hi, my name is Trey. I use she, they pronouns. I'm here today also as an artist, so I've worked with Revolution Books to kind of put together the display that you all see here. Thank you. And I just want to talk a little bit about the display and just why it was so impactful and necessary to kind of do this type of collaborative project with a political point too. So as I was Brenda, you're incredible on social media. Like she's on it. So because I follow Revolution Books on social media, it's how I got involved. And Brenda had reached out about this call to say no to America, and I felt very motivated by that. I don't know about you all, but every day on social media I am seeing a lot of things to say no to, but I'm not seeing enough things to say yes to, and I don't want to just be another person who is depressed and sad about what America is doing while it continues to do what it's doing. And so we wanted to communicate, be very intentional about the images. No one wants to paint dead babies, but no one wants to have a dead child either. And America is able to get away with our desensitization of these images, so we wanted to make it very real, everything that's happening, because it could happen to any one of us, and it most likely will. We're just really waiting our turn. James Baldwin told Angela Davis, if they came for you, they're coming for us in the morning. So just keeping that in mind. So I also wanted to say yes to a revolutionary society where people could project images of themselves onto that. I also wanted to use silhouettes as a callback to Kara Walker. She is a black artist who uses silhouettes to communicate the level of horrific detail around American crimes when it comes to slavery. So I wanted to do a callback to her work, but also an imagination that if you can't imagine a better society, it's because that's the propaganda working. Lack of an imagination is a symptom of being a colonized person, and it's a tool so that we don't rise up. So I wanted to have some images, and of course an olive tree, knowing that Israel has been very intentional not just to kill the Palestinian people, but to kill their land and to go after their symbols of nurturance. So I wanted to show that we can actually build a better society. Yes, it takes planting some seeds, but we're worth it. Our international siblings are worth it, and I'm not an American. I'm displaced here not by my choice, but I am excited by the idea of what it means for us. Not the idea, but the reality of what it looks like to be an active participant in a revolution right now. I'm not okay with funding genocide. I'm not okay with police brutality. I'm not okay with all of the levels of what this country has stood for. This country has at one point decided that my ancestors were 3/5 of a person. So am I really gonna wait for it to reform me into what? So I'm not okay with that. So that was just the goal behind this artwork, but also that no one here is trying to prescribe a dogmatic understanding of what revolution looks like. If you have ideas about revolution and not represented, these are the types of spaces to come talk about it. I'm very drawn. Again, there's so many pieces of information, education, videos, and tools within this space alone that I wanted the display to also kind of say, come into this bookstore, come in and talk to people, and make your ideas known. So I just wanted to share those ideas behind the goal of this artwork. We'd love your thoughts, and again, you can bring your own mementos of loss, but also your mementos of hope too. We don't have to just be beaten down by this system. It's our world as well. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you.
So yes, we are here to say no to celebrating America, this model of depraved racist genocide. And we are here to say yes, yes, we need and we demand revolution, a whole new way to live, a fundamentally different system. So now, Christina is going to come up and share a poem with folks today that is very fitting for us to be here to say no to celebrating America, truly a model of depraved, racist genocide.
Yes. Hey everybody. So, okay, I'm a skyscraper. So, I got this poem for you. It's called Reign of Terror, and it's by the poet Abiodun Oyewole from Cincinnati, Ohio. America is a terrorist, killing the natives of the land. Killing and stealing has always been America's master plan. To control the earth and everything on it, to divide and conquer is all they wanted. America is a terrorist, killing the buffalo that roams the plains, killing and slaughtering animals was turned into a game. Giving blankets contaminated with smallpox, the natives were killed, the beginning germ warfare, the beginning of white fear. No respect for the land, the trees, or the air we breathe, and Christianity was an excuse to bring others to their knees. America is a terrorist with a slave system in place to take away the humanity of a darker race, put people in chains, then beat them with whips, made them give up their names, those who survived the slave ship. America is a terrorist with a howdy-doody grin, using the Bible to keep others in check, while America commits all the sins. Thou shalt not kill, that's not part of the American dream. For to kill is a thrill they love to show on your TV screen. Romance the gun just for fun. Drop a bomb just for charm. This is the American way. And all of this talk about equality, justice, and peace, spewing out of the mouths of these governmental beasts. But every time blacks tried to find a way to do for self, the American terrorist wasn't having it, and fear was all black folks felt. America's a terrorist, feeding off racism and greed, not caring or sharing, but enjoying watching people bleed. For over 400 years, blacks have lived in fear of the vicious cruelty of the racists. They tried to march for justice and civil rights to be treated fair, attacked by dogs and fire hoses, beaten by police, forced to live a life in total despair. They bombed the church in Birmingham while the children were in Sunday school, took the lives of 4 little girls. Yes, this terrorist was just that cruel. American terrorism is like a virus that's homegrown and spreads across the planet too, selling guns and chemical weapons, gift wrapped in red, white, and blue. Soldier boys selling guns for hard drugs in exchange. It should be obvious by now that this country is deranged. America is a terrorist and no one wants to admit, and pointing the finger at others is the ironic part of it. Drop a bomb in Philadelphia to wipe out an organization called MOVE, killed unarmed women and children because the police had something to prove. And all the Black Panthers who were trying to help their community, wiped out by the FBI for trying to create black unity. Put drugs in the hood, set folks up for no good, kept unemployment high, education is laced with lies, turned the people against each other, made money more sacred than your mother, caused an avalanche of grief by trigger-happy police, locked the black man up in jail, made him think he was born to fail. And no place are you safe if you have a darker face. Henry Dumas, Amadou Diallo, Yusef Hawkins, Michael Griffith, Anthony Baez, Eleanor Bumpers, Emmett Till, James Byrd, just to name a few, died at the hands of American terrorists. Terrorism here ain't nothing new. Thank you.
I'm not a skyscraper. So thank you, Christina. Now we're going to have a speaker, Raymond Latta. Raymond is a longtime advocate of revolutionary leader Bob Avakian's New Communism. He is the author of a number of works analyzing the global existential threat of environmental destruction and how it cannot be resolved under this system of capitalism and imperialism, and how it could be resolved under this, with the overthrow of this system through revolution. And he is the author of You Don't Know What You Think You Know about the communist revolution and the real path to emancipation, its history and our future. Raymond.
Okay. Now, a few minutes ago, you heard Bob Avakian make the case that America was never great. never, from its very beginnings in slavery, in genocide against the Native Americans, in the theft and conquest of land of Mexico, right up to what America is today. The world's #1 exploiter, #1 plunderer, greatest mass murderer, greatest polluter and environmental destroyer of the planet. That's what the American flag, my friends, is all about. Now look at this display that Trey was telling us about. Look at this display symbolizing the children murdered in Gaza by Israel. Murdered with made in America bombs and missiles, destroying hospitals, schools, markets, houses, even graves. Look at this window, because one child in Gaza is killed or injured every 15 minutes by these bombs and missiles supplied by the U.S. One child is killed or injured every 15 minutes in Gaza. That is what is called genocide. Yes, it's July 4th. And genocide, my friends, is as American as apple pie. 2 to 3 million people murdered by the U.S. imperialists in Vietnam. Here's a Jeopardy question for you all. What's the only country in the world to drop atomic bombs on a civilian population, and which to this day reserves the right to first use of nuclear weapons to incinerate a population? Time's up. It's motherfucking America. No one with a heart and conscience should swear allegiance to America. And today we rip the veil off the blood-soaked history that the rulers of this country would have us celebrate, all in the name of democracy. But what underlies this is a system, the system of capitalism, imperialism. It is a global system of exploitation and oppression. A system driven by competition for profit and more profit. A system driven by competition for control and more control of resources and vital raw materials. America is an empire of nightmarish garment sweatshops in Bangladesh, of children hauling the coltan from the mines of Congo that power your cell phones. All this enforced by history's most massive and lethal military machine. These monsters are now careening towards World War III with Russia and China that could annihilate much of world humanity. The revolutionary leader Bob Avakian has put it very powerfully. We can no longer afford to allow these imperialists to dominate the world and determine the destiny of humanity. They must be overthrown as quickly as possible. And it is a scientific fact that we do not have to live this way. And Bob Avakian has brought forth a liberating truth. We are living in one of those rare times when revolution is more possible. The two ruling class parties, the war criminal Democrats and the Republic fascists, are at each other's throats, fighting each other over how to rule society, over how to dominate the world, and over which section of these capitalist imperialists will be calling the shots. There hasn't been this kind of conflict at the top since the Civil War. And when the slave masters are fighting each other, brothers and sisters and others, that creates more of an opening for the slaves to rise up. Look around you. Society is being torn apart. Normal routine and stability are being disrupted. I mean, these fascists are mandating that the Bible be taught in public schools. 26 states have banned abortion, including for rape. The Supreme Court, as all of you know, over the last few days, made a ruling that codified a level of presidential immunity, with Trump clearly in mind, that would allow a president to jail his political opponents, even to carry out assassinations, and face no legal criminal penalties. So things could go, and are going, in an even more terrible way than the everyday horror of this system. But there's this positive potential within this situation, these cracks and divisions. This is a time to grow the forces for revolution, and quickly, from small numbers to thousands, and then millions, to get into the position to go for the whole thing, to overthrow this capitalist imperialist system and bring a society and world worthy of our humanity into being. How do we get from here to there? By getting out the message of revolution broadly among people, shining a light on the deeper reality of what is happening and why, and bringing out that there is an alternative to living this way, and struggling with people to break with all their wrong ways of thinking, including and especially this poisonous notion that America could really be great if it only lived up to its ideals and promises. Bullshit. It's time to cast away illusions that chain you to this system. And by joining with the movement for revolution now, you will be part of creating a more favorable situation to make revolution in these very times we live in. And with so much on the line, people will take notice of a unified force with a real way out of the hell around them. And there's something very important for people to know about and to appreciate. The masses of people have a rare strength going for them, the far-seeing, scientific revolutionary leader, Bob Avakian. Bob Avakian, or B.A., is not just any leader. He is a thinker and leader who has actually solved the problems of the first great wave of revolutions of the 20th century. He has brought forward the new communism, a fully scientific method for understanding and transforming the world, and a morality, I repeat, and a morality that could actually anchor a society in which human beings could truly flourish. That's an historic game changer. And BA is sending regular dispatches at Bob Avakian official to give living guidance to the revolution. And Bob Avakian has written the Constitution for the new socialist republic in North America that I'm holding. It is the utter opposite of the U.S. Constitution, which is an exploiter's vision that treats the masses of people as objects to be used and abused to generate profits. This new Constitution by B.A. will come into effect after we overthrow the capitalist imperialist ruling class. It is a comprehensive vision and blueprint for a truly liberatory socialist society. Day one, we dismantle the 750 military bases around the world of the former American empire. And no more propping up of Israel. Day one, no longer do profit and exploitation rule. We begin to establish a sustainable socialist economy that meets the needs of people, that serves their all-round intellectual and cultural development, and acts to protect and repair the planet and support revolution around the world. Day one, no more wanton police slaughter of black and brown people. We establish new police security forces that protect the rights of the people and actually help resolve differences among the people. Day one, abortion on demand across the land. No more racial discrimination and segregation. The rights of LGBTQ people guaranteed. We create a health system, a healthcare system freed from the dictates of profit that serves the people. This new society will neither use nor develop nuclear weapons. And day one, immigrants who want to contribute to this new society will be welcome. Now, the vision of the Constitution for the new socialist republic in North America is crystallized in this broadsheet, in this document. We need and we demand a whole new way to live, a fundamentally different system. This summer, I am calling on all of you to be part of getting this broadsheet out far and wide. Be part of raising people's sights to a whole other way. So I want to end with this challenge. We are living in a time when the very future of humanity and the planet hang in the balance. A time of unprecedented danger, but also the chance of a lifetime to make a revolution that can finally put an end to all exploitation and oppression, to all relations in which one part of humanity is subordinated to and dominated by others. If you hate injustice and hunger for a society and world in which people can fully thrive and cooperate, then it is time for you to step into this revolution, to get with the leadership of Bob Avakian and to become emancipators of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. Now, just to remind people, and especially people who didn't hear this earlier, after this program, after the talks, the messages, the chanting, this overall day that we're saying no to celebrating America, truly a model of depraved, racist genocide, we're going to have a procession through the streets over here, over to Marcus Garvey Park, with some of the artwork and displays that you've seen here, saying no to the crimes of this system, which we're all too familiar with, but saying yes to a revolutionary future that Raymond just described, of what's going to happen on day one, of how do we, as we were chanting, how do we get out of this mess? Revolution, nothing less. And I want to invite everyone to come tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Revolution Books will be open from 1 to 7. Come talk with people here. Come talk with us. How to get involved in this revolution. To explore the books that are here. To explore how we can actually make a revolution in this time and get to a far new, better world. So that again, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Revolution Books will be open from 1 to 7. Now, I want to bring up, if I see them, Keisha Lee Vega. who wants to share some words with folks here. And her baby.
My name is Keisha Lee. I'm a survivor of systematic abuse and racism, not only in the criminal justice system, but in the healthcare system as well. Today I'm here to stand in solidarity with you all because I know from lived experience that America is nothing to be celebrated. I was confined at the age of 14 years old. I survived the stop and frisk era. A lot of my friends experienced police brutality along beside me. All of this needs to come to an end for the sake of the future of our children. We need to pull our children out of the public school systems. We need to stand together in solidarity, and we need to have a real revolution. We need to educate our children. The public school systems are not teaching them correct history. The public school systems are not teaching them financial literacy. The public school systems are not teaching them equality and unity. It's up to us and everyone around us to make a better future for the generations that are coming behind us. Too many times, people are losing their lives at the hands of the police. The people who are supposed to be in place to protect us. Too many times lives are lost at the hands of the government. Too many times body autonomy is violated by the hands of the healthcare system. There are mothers housed on Rikers Island. There are fathers housed on Rikers Island. There are grandmothers and grandfathers upstate New York. I am here standing in solidarity for them. Making a change and making a better world starts with unity, real coming together, having real conversations, not politically correct conversations, conversations that actually talk about the realistic things we are experiencing in America. It's not a secret anymore. America has caused so many deaths. And the blood is on our hands as well when we choose to remain silent. I'm here for my children. I'm here for your children. I'm here for our community. I'm here for the girls and boys from the inner cities who don't really understand what's going on. Enough is enough. We need to defund the police. We need to abolish the family policing system, and we need to stand up. Neither Joe Biden or Donald Trump deserve to be president of the United States. Everybody needs to stand up and wake up. We are a part of the genocide if we don't stand up and stand in solidarity. We need a free Gaza, free Palestine, free the mothers and fathers confined in Rikers Island, and free the women who are being overly policed by the family policing system. Thank you for having
me. Thank you, Keisha Lee. So I think this is time for one more chant. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Slavery, genocide, and war.
Slavery, genocide, and war.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
America was never great.
America was never great.
America was never great.
America was never great.
How do we get out of this mess?
How do we get out of this mess?
Revolution, nothing less.
Revolution, nothing less.
Revolution, nothing less.
Revolution, nothing less.
So now I'm going to bring up Clara Mattel, who's a professor at the New School. Matai. Trouble reading the right handwriting.
Israel right now has passed any form of human limit. It is bombing schools, has destroyed all hospitals. It is killing children while they wait for food. There's more than 500,000 children are starving as we speak in Gaza. A school was just bombed less than 24 hours ago, and it keeps happening. Now, we can't reduce all of this to the power of the Israeli lobby. It would be nice if we could just do that. It is much more of a systemic issue. What is happening in Gaza is rational according to the logic of the economic system we live in. It is not rational according to the logic of human needs, but it is rational according to the logic of profit. And this is true both in what is perceived as the outcome of this genocide, which is what Netanyahu showcased in his 2035 project. Shiny skyscrapers, very advanced logistics and infrastructure without Palestinians. Billions are being made out of the destruction, and this is something that is not exceptional to Gaza. Capitalism feeds on destruction. And this is true also for the current destruction. As destruction is being made, the system profits. It's enough to look at the shares of Lockheed Martin that has increased 25% in just 6 months. Or another company whose actual share, RTX, the share went up more than 50% in this 6 months. So as we cry, and I cry every day, and having children, I know what it means to look at your child and know what's happening to other children. Other people are celebrating. The rich, the ruling class celebrates because their money multiplies. Now, the United States sends to the military more than $900 billion a year, spends on the military. This is more than 40% what is spent on the military worldwide, and it is over 100 billion more than what it spends on public schools, K to 12th grade. This is what austerity capitalism looks like. Money is available, money is spent away from people to increase market dependence, meaning the very wealth we see around us, the very commodities, are the result of the fact that the majority of us has no alternative but to go work for a wage in order to survive. And when we work for a wage, we have no say over what we are producing, and we don't get to keep the output of our labor. In the meantime, wealth is produced. And for this to happen, you need to coerce people into having no alternatives. And this is what is very specific of capitalism. And this is why it's so important to understand what is specific of capitalism. That is not a natural economic order. It's not the spontaneous outcome of who we are as greedy, self-interested people. This is what they tell us at school and you learn at university. Capitalism is a specific system based on economic coercion, which is much more subtle than the explicit political coercion that was obvious, for example, during the feudal time. And economic coercion is based on the fact that we have no alternatives but to go sell our capacity to work in order to survive. If we need to pay for school, for housing, for health, anything, this is what the state actively does. It's not just the market. Capitalism is about the state supporting economic coercion. The capitalist state is all about taking resources away from people. I spoke enough. I want to say the reason why I'm here, not only that I'm a great fan of this wonderful institution that lifts my heart up every time I walk by, I live in the neighborhood. It's also because I participated to the New School faculty encampment. So what we see here is that students at the New School, like all over the country, have actually risked their lives. They've gone to jail, they risked their career. They're willing to put a vision first before their own individual interest. The New School, like many other universities, has actively incarcerated their students, calling the cops. This is where the resources, our tax money goes. They've arrested students, and in reaction, our school has actually had some faculty members step up and start encamping as faculty. it was a very successful moment because it really shows how in just a few weeks of community living, of collectively organizing for a cause and sharing moments, so much greater imagination, as you were pointing out, emerges. Now, the cause was very tiny, specific, but still brought people together. The cause was for the New School to divest on 13 companies that, as we were saying, actively profit from this genocide. The New School has not yet, and amongst these companies, we know there's Google, all the companies that make up what we use every day, Boeing, General Electric, Lockheed Martin, and many others. The New School has not yet divested, has actually refused to vote. We had negotiated in June at the end of the semester to decamp because they had assured us that they were going to vote, and meaning that the Board of Trustees was going to take an open vote on divestment. The majority of faculty and students had voted in favor. They now tricked us in not voting yet. So what is going to happen is that there's mobilization scaling up. We are going to mobilize more in the fall with tuition strikes, with students speaking up.
Right.
This is just, thank you. This is just a small battle, but I think the point is that it politicizes people in showing how much of a better world it is when you have an ambition to do something in which you feel that agency comes back to you, as not permanently taken away as they want us, as they have us make us feel every day. Thank you so much for having me.
Stop the genocide in Gaza!
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 So our next speaker is Carl Dix. Now, I'm not going to go through Carl's entire curriculum vitae, but I will say this. Carl is a founding member of the Revolutionary Communist Party. He spent 2 years in Leavenworth Federal Military Penitentiary for refusing orders from the United States Army to go to Vietnam. Carl has been on the front lines for decades against police brutality, murder, repression, and the criminalization of numerous generations now. And just personally, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag for Carl. He probably wouldn't want me to say this, but I've been working with Carl for like 40 years now, and I'm very proud to introduce him and bring him up here to speak.
All right.
Okay, let me get right to it. We got a lot of people walking around here talking a lot of bullshit about immigrants. About how they destroying the country, they taking our jobs, they're getting benefits that we should have, they crossed our borders illegally. Well, I got something to say to these people.
Say it, man, say it.
We ain't got an immigration problem, we got an imperialism problem. Look, around the world, tens of millions of people are being driven from their homeland, being forced to risk everything, to travel hundreds, even thousands of miles in search of work and survival. This causes unbelievable suffering. People have to take dangerous routes. Many people lose their lives. Women get raped by gangs that prey on immigrants. And it's the capitalist imperialist system that is responsible for all of this suffering. Now, Raymond Lotta broke down for you earlier some of the ways that the devastation is being caused by the imperialist system, so I won't get into all that. I will say this. These imperialists who dominate the globe have no answer for the climate devastation, for the wars, and the other things that are driving people to leave their homelands. Their only answer is savage repression. Now that is certainly true for the ruling class here in the U.S. Look at what that bloated bag of fascist feces, Donald Trump, has to say about immigrants. He calls them vermin who are poisoning the blood of our country. He says they're destroying the country, taking Americans' jobs, and he lyingly claims that the immigrants commit most of the crimes. At the debate last week, whatever problem got raised, crime, healthcare, the economy, Donald Trump had only one answer. It's the immigrants illegally crossing our borders that are causing this problem. And he had one solution. Bring the hammer down on these immigrants. Deport millions of them. Put millions more in concentration camps. Unleash the Border Patrol to inflict brutality and even murder on immigrants trying to cross the border, and unleash his fascist stormtroopers to back up this official violence. This is the fascist solution to this, and it will mean more immigrants will die. More immigrant families will be torn apart. Now, Genocide Joe Biden has no humane answer to this either. He has said recently, well, I'm going to let a few immigrants who are married to American citizens maybe get to stay here if they can prove how long they've lived in this country, how long they've been married, and some other hoops that they'd have to jump through. Maybe he'd do that. But here are some things he has actually done. He has deported more immigrants than any president in U.S. history.
That's right.
More than Trump, more than Obama, who also deported more than Trump. For all you people who think the Democrats are the immigrants' friends, he has closed the U.S. border to immigrants fleeing persecution in their homeland and seeking asylum. And at the debate, in the face of Trump's lies and anti-immigrant BS, Biden literally had no answer. He didn't come up with nothing to say. Now, the horrors that this system is already perpetrating against our immigrant sisters and brothers, and the even worse horrors it has in store for the future, are a big reason why people should be breaking with America and not celebrating it. Yet many people fall for and take up the ruler's lies, including far too many black people. They just open their mouths and let this bullshit from the ruling class come out of it. They say stuff like, these immigrants are crossing our borders. They're committing crimes. They're taking our jobs. They're getting benefits that we should get. They sound like Southern rednecks back in the 60s who said the same kind of shit to justify unleashing racist mobs to attack black people who were fighting for the right to vote and fighting against inequality. And see, I say to them, stop wrapping yourself in the American flag and parroting this despicable, ignorant bullshit. First off, no human being is illegal. Not one. There ain't none. The U.S. stole the land from the native inhabitants here. And they stole 1/3 of Mexico so that they had more room to expand the slave system. And the U.S. has invaded dozens of countries. They got no right to talk about their borders like they're sacred. And nobody else should even think about these borders being somehow sacrosanct and can't be toyed with or crossed. Especially nobody should be thinking that right now. Nobody with a heart and a conscience at least. Because now is a time when the intense infighting at the top of the system is tearing apart the normal way this society operates and making a real revolution possible. A revolution that overthrows this system and builds a totally different and far better system in its place. Today on July 4th, people should be breaking with America, not pledging their allegiance to it. Okay, now, let's just get real. These migrants don't come here for a vacation. They are driven to risk everything to try to get here by the life-destroying, planet-devastating, spirit-crushing system that we're living under. As the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian has said, these people come here because America has fucked up the rest of the world worse than they have this country. And think about it. Did these migrants drag black people in slave chains to these shores?
No.
Did they enforce lynch mob terror and Jim Crow segregation after the Civil War?
No.
Do they have the police out there brutalizing and murdering black and brown people?
No.
Are they the ones that have filled the jails with mostly black and brown people?
No.
You got that right. No, 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 and no. It's capitalist imperialist America that's responsible for all these and many other horrors perpetrated against black people and other oppressed people. I have to say about these people who take up these lies about our immigrant sisters and brothers. Have you lost your humanity? Are you so hooked on the crumbs you get from the plunder of this imperialist monster as it rakes it in from around the world that you will pledge your allegiance to this blood-soaked empire? And have you lost your motherfucking mind? This system has dogged black people from the very beginning right down to today. Now, they call on you to help drag down another oppressed people, and you leap at the chance. Wake up! Look at the realities. No, today on July 4th, we must break with America and all it stands for. I know y'all here ain't the ones running this bullshit about immigrants, but we got some responsibility in relation to it. When we hear people running this shit out, we gotta call it out. We gotta say, no, that's wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You following somebody who is leading you into a divide and conquer scheme to hold everybody down. And we've got a moral and political responsibility to defend our immigrant sisters and brothers when they come under attack. I call on you to join with the RevCom Corps for the Emancipation of Humanity to do just that. And we gotta stand together with migrants, with everybody who is against injustice, to fight for a world where there are no borders, a world where immigrants are welcome, a world where all the horrors of this system are no more. Such a world is possible. It will take a real revolution to make it happen. Pledge your allegiance to fighting for that. Now, I want to close with a quote from the revolutionary leader that I follow, Bob Avakian. This is something that he said that I think is apt for the situation. There is the potential for something of unprecedented beauty to arise out of unspeakable ugliness. Black people playing a crucial role in putting an end at long last to this system, which has for so long not just exploited, but dehumanized, terrorized, and tormented them in 1,000 ways. Putting an end to this in the only way it can be done, by fighting to emancipate humanity, to put an end to the long night in which human society has been divided into masters and slaves, and the masses of humanity have been lashed, beaten, raped, slaughtered, shackled, and shrouded in ignorance and misery. That's the revolutionary leader, Bob Avakian. And And I just want to say, we have to fight to bring that kind of world into being, one where all of these horrors are ended. Let that be what we pledge our allegiance to as we break with the red, white, and blue and allegiance to this empire. Thank you.
So we'll invite and urge everyone to join us in Brooklyn on Saturday, 3 o'clock at the main library, the Brooklyn Library, at the intersection of Eastern Parkway and Flatbush. We're going to be taking a version of what we've been doing here today with some of these installations, talks, taking this message to Brooklyn. Say no to celebrating America. Truly a model of racist, depraved racist genocide. We just don't want to do this here in Harlem. We want to do this in Brooklyn, Crown Heights. So everyone should get this flyer. It's got the details, where to go, Saturday, 3 o'clock, the main Brooklyn Library. Now I want to call up Kevin and Captain from the RevCom Corps for the Emancipation of Humanity.
Thank you for attending this event. Now you are sitting in front of the cultural center of a revolutionary movement. Revolutionary Books is a place where we all, as a community, local people in Harlem and international people. And it's you who make this institution grow, and it's you who allow this movement to progress and for its message to be spread. And one of the best ways in which you can be able to support this institution is in any small way with any donation that you may have. It's important with all that is going on that we support this institution, the Revolutionary Bookstore, the Revolutionary Communists, with as little or as much as possible. Those with the collection, if you can pass those around, it's important as little as a dollar, as much as a million, whatever you have to spare.
As much as a million?
As much as a million. If you got more, we'll take it. But a penny, a dime, a dollar, anything that you have, because it's important. We see how much money is being spent just on the elections that mean nothing to us, the billions of dollars, while we struggle to try to get this movement further. So it's important, and we need and we appreciate your financial support in any way that you can. Thank you.
Just want to add on to what Captain was talking about here, and bring your attention to the initiation of Revolution Summer 2024 was highlighted by a fundraising, a very successful live stream fundraising event with a goal of raising $50,000 by the end of this holiday weekend. We're at about $44,000, right? Yeah. So we've got a little bit more to go, and a big part of our goal this week is to sell this beautiful new t-shirt. I don't see anybody modeling it out here. Mira was out here a few minutes ago anyway. But this is the t-shirt. You heard us saying, no fascist Trump, no genocide Joe. The whole damn system's got to go. We got these pictures of both these motherfuckers up here with me. Anyway, we want to sell 100 of these t-shirts by the end of the weekend. Do the math. $20 times 100, that's going to be a long way to get into the goal of this $40,000 we need to have. And that goes to supporting the work for Revolution Summer 2024. And we've got the shirts back there, and we're going to get more. Did I miss anything?
Thank you. We're going to bring up Carl for an encore.
Okay, I guess I wasn't finished. Look, we have done something important here today. Today, we gathered in Harlem to speak the genocidal truth about America. And we're not finished yet. We're going to march through the streets of Harlem, but we've already done something very important. And we've done it together with people in cities across the country. Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, some city in Texas, I forget which one, Ohio. It was done in a lot of different cities. I'm making this point because this is a national movement organizing for a real revolution. And you all helped to make this possible, make it what it needs to be. But this is just the beginning. It ain't over with July 4th, and I'm not speaking mainly to the fact that we're going to Brooklyn on July 6th, that's Saturday, and we're going to do something similar out front, outside of the library there at Grand Army Plaza. Join us to be part of that to help make it what it needs to be. But I'm saying even more than that, because July 4th weekend has to be a springboard into a revolution summer. A summer where people who see the horrors that this system brings down and want to see them ended commit themselves to doing that. Now, a lot of people, when we talk with them about revolution, they be like, yeah, I see the problems, but Carl, there's nothing I can do. And see, by themselves, they're right. By yourself, you can't do that much. However, if you are part of a disciplined, militant, organized force that has a strategy for change and leadership for that change, then you can accomplish a lot. And that force exists. It's here in the RevCom Corps for the emancipation of humanity. It has a strategy for revolution. It has a leadership for that revolution in Bob Avakian, the revolutionary leader that I follow. You need to get with this organization, this RevCom Corps for the emancipation of humanity. Be a part of spreading its message. The RevCom Corps is a place that you can come to, where you can contribute to building the revolution even as you learn more about it. Even as you learn more about what's going on around the world, but most important, why it's happening and how we can stop it. This is what we need you to do. And you heard the principles that we function by, the points of attention. Look over those 6 points. That's what we are carrying out. That's what we're living by. And if you think a society that lives by those points is what humanity needs, then join us and be a part of making this force something that can impact society more broadly, draw more people in to its ranks, and then broaden its impact even more, and do this throughout this summer as we gather more forces to be in position in the fall to have thousands of people who could lead millions if and when an all-out crisis develops in society. And when you listen to the things that Raymond had to say about this being a rare time and the impact that the sharp divisions among the ruling class have and what that's doing to society, it poses the reality that the possibility of an all-out crisis could come and could come soon. So get with the RevCom Corps for the emancipation of humanity. You can come to Revolution Books and talk with us about it. But hey, we here right now. Y'all are here right now. Talk with me. Talk with Travis. Talk with some of the other people who were up here reading the points of attention. Get into this revolution. Step into it. Become a part of it. Help spread it and build it. Thank you, sisters. All right.
Now, I do want to follow up on what Carl was saying and share with you how you can get started with this revolution. Get into the Bob Avakian dispatches at Bob Avakian Official on all the social media platforms. Be part of Revolution Summer and make what you do count. 1, sign up today for Revolution School. Register at, get the flyer. It has the URL of where you can register. It's on the leaflets. This is a chance, this Revolution School is a chance to dig into the most urgent questions facing humanity, together with others. We'll be studying the first 11 of Bob Avakian's dispatches, a short course in why we need a revolution and how this revolution is possible in this time. And follow at Bob Avakian Official. 2, join the RevCom Corps contingent on July 24th in defiant and creative protest when genocidal war criminal net Nazi speaks to the U.S. Congress in Washington, D.C. Again, that's on July 24th. Reserve your bus ticket spot and get your t-shirt today, the one that Kevin was showing you. Join Revolution Books tables at summer festivals and concerts all summer. 4, help raise funds selling 100 No Fascist Trump, No Genocide Joe, the whole damn system's got to go t-shirts in the next 3 weeks. And 5th, take bundles of We Need and We Demand, a whole new way to live, a fundamentally different system. Spread this broadsheet far and wide, raising people's sights to a whole other way. Those are the 5 things you can do right now to begin stepping into this revolution. And again, I want to reiterate, people coming out, it's on the flyer, 3 o'clock Saturday at the Grand Army Plaza, the main Brooklyn Library, to take out this message with talks and testimonials. Say no to celebrating America, truly a model of depraved, racist genocide. And again, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Revolution Books is open, 1 to 7. Come visit, talk, check out the books, connect with the revolution here at Revolution Books. And now, we're going to get started with this procession.